Hi guys, this is just going to be a quick introduction to Matlab, pretty much what we covered in the first class when we started working with Matlab. When you open it up for the first time, you should see your command window in the center, and right now I have this student license. You're probably going to see something about a 30-day free trial for that. On your right, you've got your workspace. On your left, it shows you where you are on your computer, where all your files are saved. You shouldn't really have to have any at this point, I don't think. I have quite a few. So the command window is instantaneous. You punch in a number, it spits out a number. It will save your values, but you can't go back and edit them. So what I like to do is run scripts instead. So I click on New and Script. And now I can type stuff in, but be able to edit as I go and not have to worry about getting it right the first time. So to start off, I'm going to go ahead and save this because Matlab won't actually run this file until it's got a file name. So we're going to call this Matlab example 1. An important thing with your file names is it can't have any spaces in it. The file type is .m. Hit enter. So now it's saved as Matlab example 1.m. So to start off, we're going to just come up with a scenario. Let's say that I'm trying to do a math problem and I have a plus b equals c. And I'm just going to type that in as a comment. A comment, you make a comment by using a %sign, and then you type whatever you want, and anything on that line you can see in your script, but it won't actually be outputted when you run your script. So if I'm doing math of a plus b equals c, and I'm trying to find c, and I know the values of a and b, I can use Matlab as a calculator to calculate c. So let's say that a is equal to 10 and b is equal to 20. Then c is going to be equal to a plus b. You can't put it in the other order. I'll show you what I mean by that in a second. So let's go ahead and run this, and you see down in your command window it says that c is equal to 30, and over on the right in your workspace it shows you all the values of everything you've typed in. Something that you might not have seen down here, it showed me the values of a, b, and c. If I don't want to see a value outputted, I put a semicolon at the end of the line. So now when I run the script, it doesn't output anything. But over on the right, I can still see what all those values are. Those words that I typed in, clear and CLC, if I type clear, that clears out my workspace. That means that all the values are now not there. None of your variables are, you can think about it as in this system almost. CLC gets rid of anything inside the command window. So Matlab works with vectors, arrays, matrices, and we talked about those in class. Feel free to ask questions about those. But Matlab can create objects with dimensions. So to start off, let's create a vector. So I can say a vector. In order to create an array, a vector, matrix, you use brackets to start. To put something in the first row, you just start typing, and you separate it either by spaces or commas. So my favorite, as you all surely know by now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now I've created a vector, and when I run this, sorry, I forgot to do that. It shows me this vector, numbers 1 through 6. And over on the right in my workspace, I see my values 1 through 6. If I want to transpose this vector, which means instead of being one row, it's one column, I could say I type in the variable name and put an apostrophe. And now when I run that, I get my same numbers, but now in a column vector. All right, that's great for one dimension. But what if I want to have more than one dimension? In that case, I could say matrix, let's put in my first row, 1, 2, 3, and now I can go to the next row. The way you go to the next row is by putting a semicolon and continuing on. 4, 5, 6, semicolon, 8, 9, forgot 7, 7, 8, 9. Now when I run this, it spits out my matrix. It's a 3-row by 3-column. You always go row by column when you say it. So if I were to create a matrix 2, and I said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and stopped there, this is a 2 by 3 as opposed to a 3 by 3. So great, I could create vectors, I can create matrices. What if I don't want to have to type in each individual value, and I know they're going to be evenly spaced? I can do that a couple different ways, and I'm going to put this in a comment just so that you guys can see what I'm talking about without having to run it. I can create some equally spaced vectors 2 different ways. I can put in the start value, the step size, and then the stop value, or I can use a function linspace, and it's going to be the start, the stop, and the number of steps. So let's create a matrix using both of these, or sorry, a vector using both of these. So let's say I want to go from 0 to 10. I'll say start is equal to 0, stop is equal to 10, and I want to create, in both cases, I want to go from 0 to 10 where each value goes up by 1. So it'd be 0, 1, 2, 3, etc., etc. So the way of doing that the first time is I would go start and then put a colon, and then my step size is 1, and then my stop would be 10. Well, like that. The other way I can do it is linspace, start, stop, and then number of steps. The number of steps I'm going to have is actually 11. So when I run this, it creates, both of those create the exact same output. What if I want to refer to a specific value? So we're going to call both this one A, so that when I run it, you can see that A is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, yada, yada, yada. So now when I want to refer to a specific value, let's say I want to find the 8th value inside of A. I say A, put a parenthesis, 8, and when I run that, I see the 8th value in A is 7. If I want to find the first value in A, and type in A of 1, and that value is 0. What if I have something that's two-dimensional? Let's say that we go back to our matrices, and I want to find, one second, and I want to find the value of, I want to find out, let's say, second row, first column. The way I would find that value is I would say it is matrix, and then you say second row, first column, and that value is going to be 4. Or if I want to say 9 in matrix, matrix of 3, 3 will be equal to 9, and matrix of 3, 1 would be equal to 3. Wow, I can't talk. Would be equal to 7. it would be the third row, first column.